Today we have Philippe Locquet. I guess you all know him. But if you don't know him, you should know that he's our program academic manager, and he has a very interesting YouTube channel that I highly recommend you to go and visit, Translator Tech Corner. Well, today the webinar is on AI and Wordfast Anywhere. So, Philippe, the floor is yours, and I hope everyone enjoyed this webinar. We leave a question for the end, so if you want to ask any question, just write in the box question that we have here in the go-to. So, Philippe, you can start.
Thank you very much, Karina. Glad to be here. It's a nice topic that we'll be looking at today, because you'll see why and how things were made in such a way in Wordfast Anywhere so that using AI is a lot easier, and that we put in your hands the tools ready to be used. You don't have a lot to do. You don't have to create your prompt. It's all there for you, although you can do that. We'll talk about that. And we'll talk first about some basics, and all that will also help us to see what you want, because we'll ask a question for you also. So I hope you'll enjoy this session. So what I'll do, I'm going to close my camera and I'm going to begin sharing my screen so that it's easier for you to follow. At these slides. So when you think of AI, many people think about ChatGPT. So there's no preference here, but we'll use that as an example. So what happened? People think that you open a page or you open an app, and then you began chatting with the chatbot. And you can even upload files, you can ask it things, and you can ask it to translate something for you. That's not the way things work with CAT tools. To be able to use, for example, ChatGPT or another big one like Claude, you've got Lara, you've got um, uh, XAI, you've got many that are available that you can use. And the way to use them in a CAT is the same way as we used to do before when we wanted to use machine translation. So to do that, we needed an API key to be able to connect in our CAT tool. So where do we go? Well, it's a different page. So when you are visiting ChatGPT, if you have an account, you can flash the code that's on the screen right now that will take you to the page where you create your API key. Okay. And that's in the same area where you can add credits. Okay. So if you want to use some specific models, then you will have to add some credits. So, for example, $5, which allows you to translate a lot. And then you go on and you get your API key from this section. If you're using Claude, well, it's that page that you have on the screen at the moment, and it works the same way. You add some credits, and then you create your API key and you use your API key in your CAT tool. I give another example, which is Lara here, which is a bit of a specific AI because it's geared towards translation. And at the moment, they have a free plan. So if you want to try that, you can do that. It's quite good. Um, Again, no preference, but it's there for you if you want it. Google Gemini is the same, but Google Gemini, you will need to add a credit card, and you don't add credits. You will begin using your credits, and you will be charged later. Okay, so that's what you do. And how do you get your API key? Well, for example, when you are in ChatGPT, and you are in the area where you manage all these things, you have a section that says API keys, and that's where you create your keys. So you will have to create a new one, and it will be displayed in the purple area. And when you create it, you will be given the full length of the characters for the key. And that's when you need to copy it and save it in a file that you keep somewhere safe, and so that you can use it in your CAT tool. And if you want to change your API keys, it doesn't affect the way you use your credits. You can change it on the fly. If you are worried about maybe security issues, you just change the key like that. So how does everything work? Well, let's get over some basics. So the basic use will be, for example, to translate a segment. So we think about a segment, a single segment, and that's where we begin. In Wordfast tools, usually you use the shortcut Alt and the down arrow key, and that will trigger the opening of the segment. That will trigger looking into your translation memory if there is something there. But that will also call uh, ChatGPT, and you will see there that it's using your API key, and Wordfast Anywhere will have something already good to go for you, because the prompt is already made. So when you are pushing Alt down, everything is done in the background. The source segment is sent, and we send a prompt to ChatGPT asking it to translate the segment. Then we are in the cloud. ChatGPT executes the command. It sends back the result to Wordfast Anywhere, and then we get to the finish line in green here. The result is displayed in the target. So that's for translation. And you can do all sorts of prompts. As you will see, we can have some prompts that will translate in a specific way. We'll look at that later. But if we stay only there, you're limited to what you can do, because you're only using the AI at the moment of translation. And you can do a lot more. Let's look at another process that's available in Wordfast Anywhere, and that is very hard to find somewhere else in other CAT tools. So the prompt flow we are looking at is called enhance in Wordfast Anywhere. And basically, it's the actions that we will ask AI to perform, but they will be performed on the target section of our segment. So if you have already something in your target, for example, you have translated and maybe some accents are wrong, or you have a problem with your keyboard and you can't put the accents the way you want, well, maybe you can use a prompt to fix all the grammar and spelling in one go. If you want a prompt that will take the text that you have written and you feel it's too long, you want to make it shorter, you can use a prompt that will provide you with a shorter version of what you've done. Okay, and there are many things you can do. One very good prompt is the tag fixer. We'll look at that later on, but basically it fixes all the tags in the target. And all that is done in the target. So when you click on the enhance button, so you have a choice of buttons, and this will trigger one or the other prompt depending on what you have chosen. And so if in here in orange, if your choice was make this text shorter, what happens? Wordfast Anywhere takes the target section of the segment and it sends it to ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT to make this text shorter. Then Wordfast Anywhere receives the reply and you get the result displayed in Wordfast Anywhere, and you can use it if you want in your target then. So that's the way it's done in Wordfast Anywhere. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit how things work. And now we are going to go directly in Wordfast Anywhere and look at things. Okay, so in Wordfast Anywhere, where do we find the section to add an AI and manage it? That's in the Wordfast Anywhere menu. Okay, so mine here is pink. That's because I'm using one where there will be less people on today. So to make sure it's working a little faster. So don't mind that. Yours will be the normal color. So, okay, menu Wordfast Anywhere and setup Wordfast Anywhere. Okay. So then we see the AI section. And from there, you can add AI. So if you have no AI listed, here this area will be empty. And to add an AI, you just click on the green face here. Okay, so the head, you click on it, and then you will choose from the AI providers that are already prepared to be used. So you see we have quite a few of them. Okay, so we have Gemini, Lara, Claude, Maritalk, Mistral, Hugging Face, Widen, DeepSeek, and then custom, which means that if you have a specific AI that you want to use that provides you with an API key, even if we don't have something ready-made, you will still be able to make it work. If you are a little bit nerdy, you will be able to plug it in there. Okay, so if we were to add a new one, so for example, let's go for Gemini. Here, that's what you see, okay? And this section here is where you will paste the API key that we explained how to get in the beginning in the PowerPoint presentation. So as you see, it comes preloaded with many prompts already selected. Okay, so what you do is you eliminate those that you don't want to use. Okay, and then once you're done, you click on add, and that will add the AI. And once that's finished, you need to click on save settings. So remember that sequence always when you make changes there, you click on add and then you click on save settings. So if we look here, for example, at ChatGPT, which I have already set up, so I have cleaned it up a little bit so we can see better what's in there. Okay, and I have chosen to use here because ChatGPT has many models. I have chosen to use ChatGPT 4o. So if you are watching this on YouTube, so today we are in July 2026. And so I still recommend ChatGPT 4o for translation in Wordfast Anywhere. It's going to use less of your credits and it's going to work fine normally. Okay, so that may not be valid later on. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're watching. You may want to use something more recent. Okay, so once you have that done, then here what do we see? we see that some prompts do have the green icon that says to translate, okay? And some do not. So if we look in here, these, they do not have the translate icon, okay? So that's the difference we presented before. So when a prompt is marked to translate, that means that if it is selected, you will trigger the use of that prompt when you press Alt down to open the next segment, okay? So if you select several, you will have to wait a little more so that all the prompts that you have selected are uh, processed and sent back to you. Uh, if you are using an enhanced prompt, then that means that you want to trigger it once the segment is open, and I'm going to show to you in a second how that's done. Okay, so let's first start with a basic translation prompt. Okay, so let's say we want to translate something simple. Let's do here this field diary in Spanish. Okay. So, okay. First segment, the birds of Argentina. We do alt down, and fair enough, we see the result of the prompt on top here. And we also see the result, okay, placed in our target. Okay, so the AI that has the better score, depending on how you score them, will be placed here in your target, unless you have, for example, a full match, which is 85 or 90 or 100. In that case, the full match will be placed in the target, but you will still see the result from the AI, and then you will see your matches from your TM in the same area here at the top. Okay, so that's very basic. Okay. Now, let's say we want to use AI a bit more, because so far it's very basic. We're using that just as if it was a glorified machine translation. And that's what happens in many other CAT tools. But we want to make a better use of it. So if we look at this text, we see that this text has been written by a woman. She has a very difficult name. Her name is Jean Batin, which, if you read it in French, you're going to read it Jean Batin, which will sound like a man, because Jean in French is John. Okay, so that is a bit confusing. And in here, you see the text is a conversation between that woman and a local birds expert, which is Martin Chamaloro. Okay, and we will need to make the accord because this woman wants for us to read as a she. Okay, so what can we do? I'm going to demonstrate something for you. So I've prepared a file that will help with that. So let's go and select a prompt that will help us first. So in here, we have that prompt, which is called Translate Maxi Context. And what it does is it looks at the three previous segments and the three following segments and sends that as context to the AI so that the AI can consider the context to make a better translation. So let's see if it's able to do better with that prompt. So So I have put that excerpt of text in the French section. That works the same way. So we see here it's shorter, okay? And in here, in segment number 3, the author, the woman, is talking, and we will want to see if we get the accord. So we wait a second. Okay. And we can easily compare. So you can see that the top prompt here is the basic translate prompt. And in here, we read renouveler with just one E accent at the end, which is for the masculine accord in French. But if we look here at the prompt called maxi context, we see that this word here has gotten the accord. Okay, renouveler with the E accent and the E alone following it, which means we have the accord for the feminine. So that's perfect. And that's because what we sent actually was everything that you can see here. Uh, of course, the segment to translate, segment number 3, here is being translated, but everything that's before and after, so 3 segments above and 3 segments after, so we could have had a text of a total of 7 segments. Here it's only 5, but and it would have seen everything. Okay, so that is pretty good. Okay, so when you have the best prompt, you can move it to the target like this. You use the arrow on the top, and that is moved to the target section. So that gets you on your way. So that is for a simple translation. Now, if we wanted to have a pre-translation of the full text. So for example, here, the full document in Spanish, a field diary. Well, we can use the pre-translation here, and we can decide to work segment by segment. So each segment will be sent individually to the AI to be translated, the same as a machine translation would work. But it's a bit sad to do that, knowing that we can get the help of context for translation. So what we want to do when we're using AI is to click the toggle here, okay? And that becomes green, okay? And that means that we are using the one-shot translation, okay? One-shot translation here. And if we do that, that means that we are sending the whole document as one unit to the AI. And as it will translate it as one unit, it will be able to use the context, and it should do the accords that we have seen, because now it's able to see everything. So we'll see if it does that, because that text is very difficult. Also, in this area here, you can type and add some extra instructions. So for example, you can ask the AI to make the text have a formal register. So for example, the current text we have is conversational. But if we make it formal, it will change a little bit the way each character is talking, okay? So for the moment, we'll keep that blank because we want to focus on if the context is working. And to execute, we have to click on pre-translate in the background. So let's do that. So that's not a long text, so that should take only a few seconds. That gives me the time for me to have a sip of water. By the way, when we are recording this, it's summer here in my corner of the world, and it's pretty warm. Don't know how it is for you, but I hope you're enjoying good weather. Okay, so now we want to go into the menu Wordfast Anywhere, look at the background information, and we see here Okay, it took 8 seconds and it concluded and it translated 37 segments. Okay, so that means that the job is done and ready for us to check. Let's open that text now. Okay, so we see here the full text. Okay, and if we examine one of the segments we were looking at earlier, so for example, segment 7, I arrived tired and alone. And in here in Spanish, we see that we have the A, okay, which means the accord has been done. Llegué cansada y sola y me fui renovada. So that's a woman speaking. Otherwise, in the end here, we should see the letter O, okay, cansado y solo. So that's what usually AI defaults to. AI defaults to masculine when it doesn't know what to do. But in here, with very little, just the top of the text here that says that it's a woman speaking, and some few segments where she says she's a woman. With that, the AI wasn't confused by the name and was able to make the proper record. So that's pretty good, and I believe it's a very useful feature. And not many tools give you that so easy to use. So pretty nice. Okay, so far we've looked at translation, pre-translation, and we have discussed also what is enhanced, but we haven't demonstrated it yet. So let's look at what this can be. So now I'm going to go into my AI and I'm going to see what I can turn on. Okay, so to enhance, I can use this one, for example, to rewrite and make it short, or I can make it formal. So, okay, let's try short first. It's pretty simple. Okay. So let's look at, for example, this text, which has long sentences. So it's a text about the eclipse that will be seen in Spain in August. Okay. And we see it's pretty long. So let's see if we can make it shorter. I believe the prompt was in the style and tone category. Okay, so here we see short. So let's move that to the target to see if we see a difference in size. Yeah, it's less than half. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, so the prompt worked. So that's the way you action these prompts. Okay, so AI Enhance, it's changing the text that is in your target. And it can do a lot of very, very interesting things. So let me now select a few things and look together with you what is available in Enhance. So we can do DEI, okay, which means it's going to make the text, for example, gender neutral and try to avoid words that belittle people and things like that. Okay, so that's for inclusiveness. We have short that we have tested. We have formal. We have casual. And then we have other uses, like, for example, checking the grammar and the spelling. We can also try to get synonyms. So I'm going to select that one so that you can see how it works. You can, for example, check for omitted or added vocabulary. So if you want to compare the words in the source and the words in the target to make sure that there are no omissions or inclusions, you can use that. You can also use this AI detector. So if you are given a text and you wanted the translator to use only their own resources and you want to test the translation if it smells like AI, or for example, for students, if you ask students to translate with their own words and you want to check for the risk of AI, you can try to use that prompt. Um, and you have the AI tag fixer, which I will show you in a moment. Okay, so we have one that is in the category QA. We have one that is in the category terminology and domain. So let's test these two. Okay, so let's open this first segment and let's say I want synonyms for this word, escarpada. Okay, so in the target, I select the word I'm looking for to get synonyms for, and I do terminology and domain. And now if you look on the top, here I am given a list of several um, words, or that could be expressions as well. And one is highlighted. That's the one that the AI thinks is the better, but you can ignore that. So, okay. So that's for that prompt. Now, if we decide to, for example, expand that segment, because the AI checker is better when you do it on a larger section of text. So now if we go into QA, that should execute our prompt that tests for AI writing, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we have our AI detection and we have the result, which says that uh, it's strongly suggests AI generation, and that's what it is. It was written by AI, so you get the conclusion, and it analyzes some expressions, and it explains to you why it thinks it's been translated by AI. Okay, so now let's look at something else, which is our tag fixer. So we go into ChatGPT and we select it, AI tag fixer, okay, and that's in markup in syntax. We make sure we click on add and save settings. And now let's look at this very, very, very bad text full of tags. We hate that. And what does the AI tag fixer do? Well, it's going to help us to be able to get the tags, even if we don't have them, or if we forgot one or two, it's going to introduce them and place them where they should go. Okay, so at the moment, I have some text in the target. I want to use that very text and introduce the tags in it. So let's click on the tag fixer, which was in markup and syntax. And let's try that again. It's not on this segment today, the tag fixer is not working to the best of its abilities. So I'm going to give it a simpler segment. AI can have days. It seems today that ChatGPT is not at the height of its potential. So I'm going to give it something a little simpler. But when everything is normal, it works pretty well. So let's do even on segments as hard as that, because I use that to prepare this webinar and normally it works. Okay. Okay, so I've removed all the tags and now the idea is to send this to the AI. So now I'm going to add another word. To make sure it's going to use my words, okay, and not another version that's all produced out there. So let's do that now. Okay, so now we have the right number of tags, okay, and it used the word I have added. That has nothing to do there, but it's in there just to show that it's using the right text. Okay, so not in normal circumstances, ChatGPT is able to handle harder segments like the ones below, but today it's doing that. But that's already pretty good because I mean that's 12 tags and they are strategically placed where they should be. If you compare this, the target to the source, they are where they should be. So that is very important. That is very hard to do. So if you're using a good AI, because you need an AI that's able to perform to be able to do that, because that's a very difficult task, and well, it should work. So that's the result that you get, which is pretty handy. I'm sure all of us, we're happy that there's something that can fix tags for us. Pretty nice. Okay, so we have seen a few things. I hope this helps you understand also how to use Enhance. And as you've seen, Enhance has several buttons that you can use when you are inside the segment, okay? So you've got all these buttons, okay? And when you are creating a prompt, so for example, if you were to make your own prompt, that's when you decide where it goes. So for example, if you use this button here, the green button, here, add a new workbench prompt. If you decide that's going to be used for enhance, so that means that the box used to translate is not ticked, okay? So in here, you select the category. And the category is the button to which that prompt will be associated when you trigger it. And once we know that, that's very handy because when we look at, for example, if we like the tag fixer, we see it's in markup in syntax. Then Wordfast Anywhere allows you to do something very nice. Okay, so I know that something I want to use frequently is in markup in syntax. I can go into the shortcut section of the settings, and I just have to look for that markup and syntax, and I can give it here a dedicated shortcut. Okay, so that's very nice. Okay, or for terminology, for example, if you want to use the suggestions to get synonyms often, you can here select the shortcut you want. Okay, so these here I have applied them, but they come empty by default. So then you can come here, click on the pencil, and you apply the shortcut you want, and you just save settings. So far, that's quite a bit of information. But you see here what Wordfast tried to do. The idea is that the prompts are ready made for you so that you can use AI better than just a glorified machine translation. You really have tools that will make really visible changes on what you are working on. And that's our goal. And if there is a prompt that you would like see come in WordFast Anywhere, well, tell us and maybe we'll create that for you. But in the meantime, there's a community of prompts available to you. Why do I say a community of prompts? Yes, because if we go back into our AI, we have three buttons here. Okay, so we saw that the first one allows you to create a new prompt. The orange one that is flashing is the default prompt. So if for some reason you have removed one of the default prompts, you can add them back clicking on this button. And in the middle, that's the prompt village. That's where you can get prompts that have been made by your colleagues and that they have decided to share with you. And you can search these prompts by name or by description, okay? Or if that's to translate or to enhance, or by category, you can filter by many things. You can even filter by maker. If the person that made it is happy to have their name visible, well, you can search the prompts like that. For example, we can see here many prompts by Martin Chamorro. For example, this prompt here is very interesting. It helps you to simplify a long sentence. So we saw, for example, in the Eclipse document that we had long sentences. And we see it's to enhance style and tone. So if we add this prompt and make it available in our enhance buttons, then this prompt will make a long sentence divided in more sentences to try and make it an easier read. You can find many interesting ones. Some that are there give you, like this one that I like, it's written in Spanish, but it's called Paraphrasia. So if you're translating into Spanish, this one may interest you. It's going to provide 5 different versions of the translation, and it's going to change the order of words and all that, but trying to keep the same meaning. So that can be very interesting. If you're looking for another way of writing a specific sentence and you're sort of out of inspiration, well, that can give you some ideas. We even had a prompt that we made to check, for example, if there are mistakes in the original of the text. So that's the source. Okay, there's many things. So you are invited to have a look in there and check what's available if there are ones that you feel like you need. And if you are good at prompting and you feel like you have a good prompt and you welcome the idea to share your prompt with other WordFast Anywhere users, well, go ahead. You will be able to add your prompt to the prompt village. Once you have created your prompt, you will see a little toggle that says add to the prompt village, and you will be able to use it. So if we look at how do we add a prompt from the prompt village. So if I decide to use the paraphrasia one here, I just select it and I click on add, and it will go at the last position. So I just need to move to the last page, and in here we find it. Okay, paraphrasia, it changes. Okay, so how the text is written. So that is pretty nice to have. And at the moment, you see that every time you add a new prompt or you create a new prompt, it goes to the last position, as I said. But the developers are working on the system so that soon, when we get an update in Wordfast Anywhere, when it is ready, you will be able to change the order the way you want. So that if you want to have your favorite prompts at the very beginning on the first page, that's where you will find them. So, um, like we explained in the beginning, if I just go back to the idea of the API key, to be able to use an AI in Wordfast Anywhere at the moment, you need to go on one of their sites. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all these, and you need to uh, put their credit, and you need to get your API key and then come back to Wordfast Anywhere and add it in Wordfast Anywhere. If you would like it to be simpler, for example, if you purchase Wordfast Anywhere, but you were to use a new added option, which is to have Wordfast Anywhere already with an AI API key, but that would be only optional. So if you want to use the normal Wordfast Anywhere credit, you get that. But if you want to use it with one AI, for example, you would pay a little more, and you wouldn't have to go into ChatGPT, change the things over there, uh, put money in there, get the key, put it in Wordfast Anywhere. The two things would come as one. So it will be already in there. So if that's something that you feel that you'd like to see, let us know. Send us a message, put comments under this video so that we can see that you are interested. Okay, so now we have seen a few things. So let me show you a little more. One segment. And if I go into AI Enhance and I trigger style and tone, I should see the result of this prompt. Okay, so that's the one I added, paraphrasia, that Martin Chamorro made. And here I get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different versions of the same translation with a different order and things like that. So if you are looking for inspiration to translate a segment, that's one way to do it. Now, another thing that we have is prompt chains. And for example, here I have a document, legal memorandum, which is a bit complicated. And if I want to translate it in plain legal, I can ask the AI to translate it in plain legal directly, but I can also create a chain. So let's go here into our setup. And we are going to go into the prompt village. And we are going to use these two prompts here and add them. Okay. So I'm going to select that one and that one. They are both part of a chain. Okay. So I called one S1 and the other one S2 so that we can know what we are doing. So I'm going to add them. I'm going to make sure they are selected. Now I click on add and I click on save settings. now that I have added my prompts, I can start working on my chain. It's here. Okay, so when you are in AI, that's this line. Build and manage prompt chaining. And in here, we gave you an explanation, and this is where you start building. Add a new prompt. Okay, and I'm going to call that plain legal. Okay, translates in plain legal. Okay, step one. So now in ChatGPT, I need to find the one I called S1. And what this prompt does here, it rewrites the source text. So what's going to happen is Wordfast Anywhere is going to send to ChatGPT the English text, and it's going to ask ChatGPT to rewrite still in English the text, but in plain legal. So that's before we translate it. And the second step is going to be the actual translation text. So where is S2 now? There it is. Okay. And we will need to use a parameter here. And it will be SS. Okay. So this one here. All right. So I'm going to add this chain, and I'm going to have it selected. Close. Save settings. And now, since this is a prompt made to translate, let's make sure I've set it to translate. No, it's to enhance now, so I have to change it. Use to translate. Okay, I forgot to tick that box. And now I click on add. And now it's going to be a prompt that is used to translate. And when I will go into my legal memorandum, now I will be able to use it for translation. So if I start in segment 2, which will have some difficult text, okay, where it is my prompt chain, here it is at the bottom. Okay, so if I place that in the target so that you can see it better, okay, here we have the whole thing that have acted. And I can go even one step further. There is a prompt on the prompt village that helps break down long sentences into smaller ones. There are many things that we can do. So that gives you a glance of what you can do. And prompt chains are very good for when you want to do something that is complicated. So if the AI becomes confused and doesn't give you a good result, maybe if you divide it in different steps with a prompt chain, then you will be able to get the result you want. So that's something to think about. And you can even use prompt chains for pre-translation. So you can pre-translate the file segment by segment with a prompt chain. By the way, something I forgot to tell you, which I'm going to do right now, is that when you want to do a pre-translation with OneShot, you can add here your custom instructions. Okay, so for example, the other day I was helping a translator that wanted a specific tone to be used in the target, and the AI wasn't doing it. So then we added here the instructions that we wanted, and it made it. So we see examples here. So for example, you could write, make the text register formal. You can just type that here. Okay, make the text register formal, and that will be added to the prompt that will be translating your whole file as one unit, keeping the context. So pretty nice. What can we expect in the future from what you are looking at? So very soon, well, not very soon, soon, developers are working on it. In here, you will be able to reorder your prompts, okay? So every time you add a new one, it goes to the last position. When the update will come for that, you will be able to reorder them any way you want. So that's pretty nice. What else? There's more. Now, very soon, so that should be maybe next week, maybe the week after, we will be publishing a special prompt again. So you will get a terminology clarifier. So on this screenshot here, I give you an example of what this does. So if you are looking at segment 21, okay, we are looking here at something very technical. And if you trigger the terminology clarifier, the prompt will take the complicated terms from the source and it will explain them to you in the context. So it will be looking at the segments that are before and the segments that are after. And it will be able then, looking at the context, to explain to you the terminology so that it matches the type of document you are translating. And we will have another one which will do the same thing, but from a selection. So for example, here, still on segment 21, if I select here the acronym NDE, then I can trigger the definition provider prompt, which will give me a definition. And at the end, it will also provide me with a translation. And it will do that looking also at the context, the previous text and the text that is coming after. So pretty nice things to expect. And now you have the floor. You can ask me questions.
Well, Philippe, thank you so much for this presentation. I don't know if we can see you.
I'm trying to turn on the camera, but for some reason it's taking a while.
Yes, mine too. So while you're seeing in the camera, well, I have one question here from Monica. She asks you for the AI included tool. It's not yet done, but are there confidentiality problems?
Can you say that again?
For the AI, where is it again? For the AI included tool, are there confidentiality problems?
Well, it's a very vast question.
Yeah.
It's always the same. Let's say if you publish on social media some information, then it's on the internet. So you have to make sure that you know what you want to publish and why. Okay, so that's when you are using AI, it depends on your contract. So if you're using basic AI, what you are using usually is stuff that they will be able to reuse in the future to train their engine. So you have to decide. Now, if you are translating sensitive material, using AI the way I just showed is not necessarily the best option. You will want maybe a different AI or a different um, contract. So, for example, if you use an enterprise contract, you will get an enterprise API key. And in that case, they will not use your data for future training. That's what's in the contract. So that's I think that's what should guide you. What are you using, and what kind of text you're translating, and what kind of AI contract you are using. I hope it's.
Okay. Yes, Monica, I hope it answered. Then Martini says, is it possible to use local models with Wordfast Anywhere?
Yes, if you know how.
Okay.
That's always the same thing. So, Wordfast Anywhere is hosted on servers. Okay, so it's in the cloud. If you are running a local AI on your computer, you can make Wordfast Anywhere reach it if you set up um, the um, the routing correctly. So basically your computer will need to be able to be reached from outside. Okay, so if you test that with a friend, so for example, if a friend of you that lives in a different place is able to connect to your AI model, then if you set up the API correctly, Wordfast Anywhere will be also. So it's all about how you set up things and the routing. But in theory, it's possible. Yes.
Okay. I think maybe you can share your screen with some
Yep.
part of the presentation because I don't know why we cannot turn on the camera.
Yeah,
Rest at
I tried
instances.
it several
Uh,
times, and
but can you share your screen with the
yes, 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 yes. I will do
with your
that right
info?
now.
And meanwhile, Luke says, is the AI tax fixer available for students' licenses? The University
Yes,
of Ghana. Hi, Luke. Okay.
yes.
And more general, are all these features only on WordFast Anywhere or also WordFast Pro?
So Wordfast Anywhere and Wordfast Pro are two completely different tools. Okay, so uh, what happens in Wordfast Anywhere does not necessarily happen in Wordfast Pro. So the prompt system that I showed you and the AI system that I showed you is not available at the moment in Wordfast Pro. So if you want to use AI the way I showed you, it's in Wordfast Anywhere. If you want to connect AI to WordFast Pro, then there are methods to do it, but you're going to have to use WordFast Server or different ways of doing it. So it's going to be more complicated. But basically, the simplest way is to use WordFast Anywhere. And by the way, if you have a WordFast Pro license, you have access to
Mm-hmm.
Wordfast Anywhere for the whole duration of your Wordfast Pro license. So you're
Yes.
good to go.
Okay. Lucia asks you, is in your opinion, what's the best model of Gemini to use for Webfast Anywhere?
Of Gemini,
Mm-hmm.
Gemini is very difficult. It has to be from the series 3, okay? And and then I think it's the three the three fast. That's that's the best to use. Let me see if I can. I don't have a key at the moment. Oh, okay. So that's very strange. Okay, I can't manipulate it too much because I'm seeing issues with. Yeah, the software we are using for streaming today is not happy for some reason, so I won't be able to show you. But the yeah, the model I think it's 3.0 fast or 3.1 fast, and that's the one that will work. But you have to make sure that you have set up everything right in your Google account for Gemini to be able to work. You need to have your credit card connected, all that accepted, and then you have to wait about 48 hours for it to be activated, and then you should see the results when you connect to Wordfast Anywhere.
Okay, good. Oh, Martin, a comment. The Prom Village, sorry, the Prom Village is open to every Wordfast Anywhere user. So if you have prompts that you feel should be known by the world, just go ahead and share them. I have to upload more actually. Because
Yeah,
here is Martin Chamorro is one of the experts on this kind of tools. So he's adding some prompts together with Philippe.
yes, yeah. Martin, I showed some prompts that Martin made. He has very
Mhm,
good prompts.
mhm.
And I didn't have time today, but there was another prompt that I could have shown that yeah, I was inspired from one of his creations. So yeah, the more prompts we have on the prompt village, the better it is, because um, if you are tech savvy and you're fine with sharing your prompts with the world, you're going to be helping someone. So that's useful, because creating prompts is also a skill, and not everybody is able to do that. So you're helping people when you're putting prompts in the prompt village. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, here we have our developers. They are connected, and they are announcing that the release is on Saturday 18th with the two new licensed prompts and a couple of fixes. So we
Yeah.
will have new things coming next Saturday. Okay, I
Stay
think
tuned.
that's it. If you can, raise your hand if I did not answer your question, because I'm looking here, but I don't see more. I think well, some comments, or if you want to speak, I can allow the mic. Um, if no more question, I think this is it.
And if I may
Uh,
add, uh,
mhm,
if some of you think that it would be nice to have like a new type of subscription added,
mhm.
something different that is on the side, where you can have ChatGPT, or you can have another one, let us know. Because if many people request it, and if this happens, then it will likely be an enterprise key. And if that's an enterprise key, it means that your data is not kept for training. So that can be interesting as well. So if that's something that you'd like to see coming, send us a comment, send us a mail, do something, so we know you're interested, and
Okay.
then maybe it will happen. I can't promise anything, because we're only like asking at the moment. But if many people want it, maybe it will happen.
Nice. Lucia, you want to say something because I didn't see your hand rising. You can speak. Are you there? Because I enabled your microphone. No. Well, anyone else? Because no, today GoTo is not working that well. Checking
It's
for more
same for
questions.
you as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
same, the
that
same, the
that's
same.
not only me.
Jay, we have a question from Jamie. Do you have a prompt for
Hello,
fuzzy
Jamie.
match repair where the fuzzy also has different tags? Shall I repeat it?
We have a fuzzy repair prompt. Yes, we showed it. And what was the end of the question?
I repeat it. Do you have a prompt for fuzzy match repair where the fuzzy also has different tags?
Different tags.
The fuzzy, yes.
No, no, we didn't do that. I think if you want to do that, you should use a chain, because the AI tag fixer in itself is a very complicated prompt. and I think you're going to confuse the model if you do both at the same time. The AI tag fixer is available to add in a prompt chain. So there's nothing stopping you from using both the the fuzzy match repair prompt alongside the AI tag fixer. So you can do both.
Good. Well, no more questions, I think. Remember, you can write to us to training@wordfast.com or Karina@wordfast.com or Philippe if you have more questions. Stay tuned for the next webinar with our CEO, Yves Champollion, and Plus Tools. I don't remember the exact date, but be around our social media and you will see, or go to our website and you find it a page where you will find all the past and next webinars. And again, Philippe, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I I hope all you guys here had enjoyed. And then remember, we have the recording and will be posted on our YouTube channel pretty soon. I don't guarantee tomorrow, but pretty soon. Well, guys, thank you again and hope to see you in the next webinar.
Bye bye to everyone.
Bye. Bye bye.